What's up, y'all? It's John Joffrey with Revent Builds in Austin, Texas. And today's video is focused on habits that builders and contractors need to quit. Yes, stop. I'm talking to you. One of the most horrendous things in the build construction sphere that needs to stop immediately and that will make the world a better place is stop doing lipstick on a pig jobs. They are awful for all parties involved, and they give our profession a horrible name. Now, what I mean by this isn't super bougie. You don't always have to use the best materials available. I understand people have different budgets. Let's just start back into doing the right thing. You open up the walls, you find an issue. Do you cover that up or do you fix it? The answer is easy. You fix it. You bring it to the owner's attention. Or if you yourself are doing the project, you need to own up to it and understand that doing a better job overall and doing something that's best for the project and for the long term is the best outcome, any way to look at it. Now, there's some people out there that are new to the game and they just really don't know. So some of the materials they might be using and the methods of construction that they might be using are just not up to par. It is up to you to do your homework, to learn, to find the best trades and subs to carry that out. But if you know better and you're doing this stuff to save a buck, shame on you. Stop it. Okay, now along that same vein, again, everyone has a different budget, but do not use the cheapest guy. Do not ever make choices based on price alone. Sometimes people are affordable and they can do quality work. There's some people that are cheap and they're cheap because their work is such. I promise you, using the cheapest guy is never the cheapest option. It is always going to cost you more money. Things are going to come up in your buyer's inspections. There might even be accidents that happen in the house that you would be liable for. So please just do your homework and just evaluate people as a whole. Do not make selections of trades solely based on price. All right, now, this next one builds upon the last two bad habits. Now you've found a crew that you like and they're good and they're quality and they've been doing great by you, but now you're trying to undercut those amazing workers. Why are you doing that? Do not do that. It makes for unhappy workers. It brings quality down. It just brings the overall job mentality down the toilet bowl. If you're paying people what they deserve and what is truly fair, they do not care about coming back for warranties. They do not care about punching out. They are invested in the project like you. Share the wealth. Don't be a greedy jerk. Now, this bad habit is actually one that hurts the builder or contractor themselves. Do not do any sort of estimating or pre-construction services without being paid for it. Yes, that's right. When you do an estimate, you're putting in your hard work, your time, you're bidding this out. You're doing all of your homework. Think about all the combined hours that you're putting in. Why should you not get paid for that? And honestly, there's nothing wrong with it. A lot of people are afraid that if they charge for an estimate or if they charge for the consulting in the beginning of the job, that they might lose the job. I will tell you something. If someone does not want to pay you for your time before you even start, that is a massive red flag, and you will thank me later for not working with them. Okay, if you're a little bit more seasoned in construction, you've been around for a while, you may know that the two main types of contracts are cost plus and fixed fee. If you don't know those terms, that's completely fine. To break it down, cost plus, that means all the cost of the job. That's all of your materials, all of your labor, basically everything that you pay out to get the job done is paid for by the client dollar for dollar. And there is a plus. That is your percentage or your fee on top of that. So if you are a cost plus 25, that means the client pays the cost, you get 25% of all of that cost. Fixed fee, on the other hand, it is a lump sum price. You can still break down all of your categories, but you do not break out the costs plus your fees. It is all encompassing. It is much more simple. What the client sees, the client gets. What I am telling you now is no matter what anyone else tells you, stop doing cost plus contracts. The first reason, a lot of builders get really lazy with their estimates in cost plus. They literally just put some numbers, maybe based off previous estimates. They know that when those creep up, the client has to pay for it, right? The other hand, on fixed fee, you need to hard bid everything. You need to put in some contingencies on where you think things might fluctuate because the client is not paying for that. I think it's a much more honest way to do things. It's also a much more exact way to do things. Now, also, a cost plus method is a mountain of paperwork. If you have a small team, keeping up with every invoice, every receipt, all of those details is a full-time job in itself. You need to hire on another person. In fixed fee, you keep track of all that, of course, but you're not sending it over to your client to get audited. Things might change, things might shift. That is in your favor. And the most important reason, what I've found out, if both contracts, cost plus and fixed fee, are the same number, but the client knows how much you are making, they are much more upset about it. Rather than they love this number, they love you, it takes away all of this uncomfortable discussion on what you're making on the job. So this next bad habit was actually when I first started, I even did it. So again, I'm not above any of this. I'm above most of it though. Renovating without permits. Sometimes the city can make things so much more complicated than they need to be. But let me tell you why this actually helps you and not hurts you. If you're a newcomer, pulling permits is the best safeguard you can ever do. You literally have an inspector from the city to come check your work. If some of your trades screwed something up, they let you know exactly what you need to fix. Also, matters of life safety, they call those things out. It's gonna protect your ass. Lastly, if you get caught doing a renovation without permits, you will get red tagged. You might have to pull it all back out. You might not be able to sell the property. There is a long list of horrible things can happen. I know permitting can be complex. Don't try to do it on your own. Find an awesome local permit expediter and pull those damn permits. Okay, now building off of permits. If you have a permit, the other thing is now that unlocks the ability to use an architect or a designer, because great architects and designers will never do jobs without permits, right? So if you're used to pulling permits and doing that, you need to be using architects and designers. So immediately stop if you're not doing so. Why should you use them? They're an upfront cost. Yes, they are, but they make your layout so much better. They make your home so much more interesting. They also give you a massive amount of information. If you're working with a client, you want to eliminate all those assumptions. You want to have all the client's wants and needs on that paper. If you're doing your own new build or flip, you want all of that information, window sizes, door sizes, you want floor plans, you want door openings, electric plans, the list goes on. Again, it is actually making things more simple because all you're doing is coloring in the lines. Take all that away and you're shooting in the dark and you're set up for failure. Okay, guys and gals, you've all learned from your mistakes. You've quit all these bad habits. The work starts coming in, things are clicking. What do you want to do? You want to feed the beast, get bigger, do more houses. Stop it! You're not ready for it. Saying no sometimes can be the best thing you could ever do for yourself. You do not want to be over leveraged. Do you know how stressed out you will be when you have multiple projects going on at the same time, unhappy clients, you have bills to pay? That is where you can get in a rough situation. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Do not feed the beast, feed your pockets. Thank me later. Y'all, I love doing videos like this. Sometimes I just sit down and think about this, but I would love your suggestions of things that you want to hear, especially if you're a newcomer. It can be the most basic thing ever. Just write it down in the comments. I love that stuff, and I would love to dive into new topics that maybe I'm not thinking of. As always, thank y'all for following along. I love you. I'm out.